Let me say just a few words about your individual study for the course. First of all, this really is your study, and what you should not do is try to find something that, quote, pleases me. This is not about me as your professor. This is about you and what you would like to study, a particular area that you would like to pursue during the process of our course. And so the individual study really is designed to allow you an opportunity to make perhaps 20-25% of your whole grade for the course by pursuing something that really is interesting to you. And with that in mind, we're allowing latitude in what individual study can mean as long as your study is within the bounds of our course on business ethics, the core values as it were. And so several options are open to you for fulfilling the individual study, and I've suggested 3 or 4 of those in your guidelines, which you should look at as soon as possible. These will be found on course information. One of your options, of course, is to read a current book by a significant author on business ethics or some aspect of business ethics. Now, this is perfectly legitimate for you to secure a book that perhaps deals with ethics in your field of specialization, such as accounting or criminal justice or nursing. And so you're invited to pick a book, hopefully a current one, but not necessarily. You could pick a classic, and that would be perfectly acceptable with me. I do provide a list of suggested books that you find on course information. These are books that I myself have read. I feel they are appropriate, but please do not view this list as a list that you must choose from. That is not true. If you find a book that is not on my suggested list, then I would strongly encourage you to submit that in your proposal. Let me take a look at it, and we would welcome that. Another thing that you can do, which a number of students have had really good experiences with, is to find an individual in an organization, profit or nonprofit, who has some responsible position for ethics within that entity. That is to say, someone perhaps at a vice president level whose responsibilities include ethical considerations for the organization, such as conducting ethics training on an annual basis, or developing codes of ethics or codes of conduct, that kind of thing. Someone who is responsible for ongoing training with ethics. And do an interview with that person and report by writing a paper on your findings from that interview. If you would have the courage to attempt something like that, then I certainly will provide you a list of suggested questions that you can include for your consideration in doing that interview. I'll be glad to post those questions to course information on your request. And don't be surprised if individuals in a really high position in the company will just be very generous with you with their time. I've had countless students who have told me that they asked for 20 minutes with a responsible executive, and the executive gave them an hour and a half. This happens all the time. People in responsible positions generally are very flattered that you would ask their time, ask their opinion, give them an opportunity to participate in a student who is working on his or her MBA. Another option would be for you to attend some kind of conference. Here in the Oklahoma City area, our favorite, of course, is the OK Ethics Consortium. These good friends have luncheons every month through most of the year, at which they invite responsible people, authors of books, conference leaders. These are very worthy individuals to hear. And more often than not, we can get you free tickets for those luncheons. And that would suffice for your individual study by listening to a good speaker and then reporting on what he or she said and your application of that. And finally, you may want to pick a research paper. Generally, this allows you the freedom to do a paper on ethics as it relates to your particular field or discipline. I have had wonderful papers from people who have written papers on the ethical considerations for accounting, let's say, or for nonprofit organizations, or architecture, or criminal justice, or some field in healthcare. You're perfectly free to do that. Pick a subject of your choice on which you do a research paper. What you will need to watch are the requirements and the guidelines for academic quality references. I believe there are 3 to 5 that are required, and of course your citation of those references in your paper. I would welcome a suggestion beyond those 4. If you come up with an idea for individual study that we have not covered, that you feel is worthy, by all means submit that idea in your proposal. Be sure and see that a proposal is required, which requires my approval before you proceed with your individual study. That proposal form is found on course information. It is a course requirement with a possible penalty if you do not honor the deadline. The requirement is that you submit your proposal for individual study not later than the end of the first week of our course. But you find that spelled out in other places and in our syllabus. So consider what you would like to do, submit your proposal, let me take a look at it, and if it is anywhere near accurate with the core values of our course, I'm going to be anxious to give you approval. The main thing I'm looking for is to make sure that you have not picked a subject that is too large in scope for you to accomplish in about 5 good weeks. So let me see your proposal for individual study, and we will promptly respond back to you. Thank you.